Emma Chamberlain went on the Call Her Daddy podcast this week, and she had a lot to say about past friendships, past relationships, and people in the industry that used her. Now, even though names weren't mentioned,
hi, sister!
A lot of people think she was talking about James Charles and the Dolan Twins. It's a mess, so let's get into it. Emma went on the Call Her Daddy podcast this week, and a lot of people were really shocked to see her there. Emma normally leans pretty safe, and her content is very PG, while Call Her Daddy is the complete opposite. People were also upset because Alex Cooper just had Jamie Lynn Spears on her podcast. She gave Jamie a platform to push her book sales and slander Britney's name, so a lot of people aren't too happy about that. But Emma still went on and did a 2-part interview with Alex and talked about things we've never heard Emma talk about before on her own channel. Emma's never in drama, she never talks about friendships or fallouts or even breakups. She normally just lets her fans catch on naturally and come up with their own theories. Emma used to have a core group of friends on YouTube that I'm sure you all know about, the Sister Squad. The Sister Squad consisted of Ethan and Grayson Dolan, James Charles, and Emma. Up until 2019, the Sister Squad was everywhere. They collabed all the time, they were always filming content, and they all grew massively from the friendship. YouTube friendship groups have always been really popular, and they've always done really well. People love watching a group of creators act like best friends and pump out a bunch of really entertaining content. Unlike most friendship groups though, the Sister Squad didn't seem to have too much drama. Their content was always super positive and put together, almost like it was a scripted show. It was definitely too good to be true. Looking back now, a lot of fans realized there seemed to be tension between the group. When you rewatch this, you can feel the tension and anger they have at each other. Rewatching this like 50 times, I just started to see some tension with each other. This video has the worst energy. I can't stop laughing. This friendship group breakup has literally been one of YouTube's biggest mysteries. One day, they all just stopped collabing, and no one has really said anything. A lot of people thought Emma and Ethan had something going on between them and broke up, which led to the whole group falling apart. But Emma and Ethan never confirmed if they were even dating to start with. On Call Her Daddy, Emma opened up about her experience navigating friendships when she first moved to LA. She moved to LA when she was only 17 and had a really hard time figuring out whether or not people were her actual friends or if they were just using her for content and views. She said looking back now, she can forgive these friends who were using her because at the end of the day, they were all just trying to make it and prove to themselves that dropping out of high school and moving to LA was the right decision.
Being around people that are in the same industry as you is also not always the best thing because there's a lot of competitiveness. There's a lot of trying to, use you to get farther. And that's something I didn't anticipate. There's a lot of room to get over when you're being friends with people in your industry. And that's something that I really struggled with and experienced. In retrospect, now that I'm far away from all people or all things that could ever put me in a spot where I would be used or would feel taken advantage of in some way, like now that I'm far away from those things and I can look back at those moments when I did feel that way and I was wrapped up in those things, I forgive. Like, I get it, but I'm also like, but it still sucked, and it made me a lot less productive, and it made me depressed because I felt like just an object in some ways, which again, I don't think that was their intent, but I felt like I was just like a corporate drone, you know what I mean? Like a YouTube corporate drone.
Right. A lot of people think Emma is talking about the Sister Squad. Emma made a comment about feeling like a corporate YouTube robot in some of these friendships, and like I said earlier, the Sister Squad felt too perfect. It felt like a manufactured group of friends being cast for the perfect money-making YouTube friendship. Emma also said the content would be mutually beneficial, which is true. They all built off of each other's audience and gained subscribers from each person in the Sister Squad. The biggest reason people think this has to be about James and the Dolans is because of this.
There was like a few instances where, people would want me to appear in their videos, for example, and I would be like, I can't today because like I need to be working and I need to I have to be and they'd be like, and maybe because they were more successful than me in some ways or whatever, when they would be like, you have to, I would be like, okay, you know? And so I was young and very yes man when I first moved to LA. So if somebody and these like YouTubers who were maybe more established knew that they could kind of push me around a little bit, not only on camera but off as well, just by, you know, like they just knew that I was really also still kind of a fan of everyone. I think they could sense that as well.
So here's where the tea comes in. Emma was a fan of both James and the Dolans before she even met them.
The Dolans met from literally me leaving thirsty comments on their Instagram pictures. So that was fun because they're the best. So they actually reached out to me. Our 1 year friend anniversary is coming up because they actually reached out to me last Halloween.
Right.
And asked me to do their Halloween makeup. And I was like, oh yeah, definitely. I will be there. Emma, I met through literally just YouTube. She had talked about me in a few of her videos and stuff. And I had DM'd her and she was moving to LA. So we FaceTimed one night about her moving here. I like wanted to give her advice and stuff. And we ended up talking for literally like 7 hours. And then once she moved here, her and I were together. And then Ethan and Grayson just came over and thus was born the Sister Squad, the most iconic group ever.
That's cool, man.
So imagine being 17, moving to LA, and suddenly being invited to hang out with YouTubers that you've looked up to forever. I'm sure you would feel pressure to collab with them on demand, and I can definitely see James feeling entitled to that. On the other hand, people also think Emma could be talking about the Gerties. The Gerties was a friendship group between Emma, Hannah, and Ellie. They did tons of collab videos together until eventually they also fell apart. A lot of people actually thought Emma was the issue because she was breaking up with all her friendship groups, when really she was just sticking to herself and building her career. Emma has grown so much in these past 3 years and has even passed just being YouTube famous. She now works with Louis Vuitton and even got to host the Met Gala. After hearing Emma on Call Her Daddy, some fans who were around for the Gertie days think it could possibly be about them. Maybe she felt like they only wanted her around for content because she was pulling them in major views. Videos of the Gerties were getting 2-3 million views per video, so Emma was definitely beneficial to them. Then Emma moved on and talked about ways she was burnt by these friendships, and this is where she said sometimes she felt like she was getting bullied in these friend groups.
And I honestly would say that the ways that I was burned the most, though, were like more personal ways, like the ways that just like people who were like kind of.
Once again, people think this has to be about James Charles. Emma and James unfollowed each other off of social media once the whole Sister Squad broke up, and there's even full compilation videos on YouTube of James being mean to Emma. Well, here we go, because Tana Mojo decided to insert herself into the situation and revealed who she thinks Emma was referring to. A T page posted the story about Emma talking about her experience with her friendship groups on Call Her Daddy, and Tana commented under the post, James Charles. Yeah. For once, I actually think Tana is right. There are still some people who really don't think Emma was ever talking about James. James and Emma actually refollowed each other on social media back in 2020 and met up to do a collab. After the collab, Hollywood Fix asked Emma about her refound friendship with James, and Emma had nothing but positive things to say about him. I do want to remind you guys though, this was way before all this new information came out about James, so who knows if she still feels the same way. It wasn't the same story with the Dolans though.
So the only missing piece is we need the Dolan Twins back, and if everybody can get on the same page.
No promises on that one.
No promise. Well, that's okay. Everybody, goes through different phases. But
Totally.
A lot of people think that's because Emma and Ethan were dating, and they probably had a messy breakup. Emma opened up about a relationship on Call Her Daddy, and I don't know if she's talking about Ethan, but whoever it was sounded not the best.
But I found that in past relationships, I didn't feel as respected by guys that I've dated in the past, just because I feel like they kind of, one relationship in particular, but it was just like, I just felt like, he was very critical of the fact that I like maybe wasn't a super feminine girl. And like sometimes he was like, oh, it's actually super cool and chill. And then sometimes he was like if I'd like put on jeans and come over, he would be like, oh my god, like you finally like put effort in, like that's crazy. I'm like, or if I would be wearing makeup or whatever, it would be like a big deal, and like it would be like, oh my god, you're wearing makeup, like whoa, you know what I mean? No, like I felt like I wasn't enough.
Yeah.
In like the areas that I was feminine weren't enough.
But overall, people still have a lot of mixed opinions on who exactly she was talking about. Here's what people had to say. This video screams James and the Dolan Twins. I think she means Hannah and her friend group. I don't know why, from the beginning I felt Hannah and her group were kind of mean to her. Defo talking about James and the twins, considering she said it was based on content. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you think Hannah is right and she was actually talking about James Charles? Do you think it was mainly about the Dolans? Or do you think it was about the Gerties? Let me know down below, and I'll see you next time.